Good day, everyone. It is a pleasure to present our research entitled The Influence of Transformational Leadership and Cross-Cultural Psychological Capital on Turnover Intentions in Sabah Hotel Industry. These are the members of my research team. My name is Daria, the leader of this research project. This is our presentation outline. The study of transformational leadership covers many contexts and disciplines and is believed to be the most valued in the hospitality industry. In this study, we investigated the influence of perceived transformational leadership and cross-cultural psychological capital on turnover intentions of frontline employees working in 4- and 5-star hotels in Sabah, Malaysia. Data were collected from 162 frontline employees through purposive sampling method. Partial least square structural equation modeling was performed to test the hypothesized relationship. The findings demonstrated clearly that transformational leadership positively affects cross-cultural psychological capital and negatively influences turnover intention. Nevertheless, there is no significant relationship between cross-cultural psych-cap and turnover intention. This study extends the hospitality literature by offering a new conceptual model representing employees' perceptions of transformational leadership, or TL, and cross-cultural psychological capital, psych-cap, that influence frontline employees' turnover intention based on the theory of job demand resources, JDR, and conservation of resources, COR. These findings have implications for the advancement of leadership and turnover theory, as well as for the advancement of leadership and retention. The objective of this research is to investigate the influence of perceived transformational leadership and cross-cultural psych-cap on turnover intentions of frontline employees in 4- and 5-star hotel in Sabah hotel industry. A survey conducted by Deloitte in 2015 reveals that turnover in the hospitality industry is almost double the average rate for all sectors as in the UK and US, where the average employee turnover is 30% and 31% respectively. In Malaysia, the annual average turnover rate was at 32.4%, the third highest after IT communication and associations societies. Transformational leadership has been studied in many contexts and disciplines. However, TL traits are believed to be the most valued in the hospitality industry. These studies have associated TL in promoting psych-cap and reducing the level of turnover intention. The job demand resources and conservation of resources theories serve as the underpinning for this study's conceptual framework. From the perspective of this study, TL and cross-cultural psych-cap can both act as job and personal resources, respectively, creating resource caravans to enable frontline employees to meet job demands and challenges, thereby reducing their level of turnover intention. The integration of these two theories are that JDR theory describes TL and cross-cultural psych-cap as motivational mechanisms that incorporate job and personal resources and results in low turnover intention. These resources will form a spiral effect to create resource caravans that work together, enabling frontline employees to meet job demands and challenges, thus reducing their level of turnover intention. These are the three variables and their respective definitions. While many researchers have explored the association between these three variables, a gap in the literature exists on research focusing on the 4- and 5-star hotels in Sabah, underpinning the JDR and COR theories. This is the research framework of the study. There are three hypotheses. Hypothesis 1. Transformational leadership is positively related to cross-cultural psych-cap. Hypothesis 2 is the transformational leadership is negatively related to turnover intention, and the last hypothesis is cross-cultural ICEBTS is negatively related to turnover intention. This research applies the quantitative method, and there are three instruments used. The first one is the Multi-Factor Leadership Questionnaire MLQ by Bass and Avorio. The second one is the Cross-Cultural ICEBTS by Dalbert and Richard. And the last one is the Turnover Intention by Olsegun. The minimum number of the sample size required for the study is 85. The purposive sampling was employed to select the frontline employees that fulfill the study's criteria. A total of 7 4- and 5-star hotels out of 21 consented to participate in the study. The total number of valid questionnaires collected was 162. As the collection of this data relies on a single method, that is through a self-report survey, common method variance CMV is likely to be an issue. So we have applied a few recommended procedures. Among them are the assurance of anonymity and confidentiality, and by collecting the data at different points of time. SPSS and partial least square structural equation modeling was applied to analyze the data. In analyzing the data, the two-stage approach by Anderson and Gerbing was used. So the first stage is focused on the measurement models to assess the internal consistency, reliability, convergent validity, and discriminant validity, while in the second stage is focused on the structural model considering the collinearity, path coefficient, R-square, and F-square. All assessments in the respective stages were conducted and complied with the threshold values of each assessment. This is the table on the hypothesis testing results. The results of the path relationship assessment showed that hypothesis 1 and hypothesis 2 were supported. However, hypothesis 3 was rejected as there is no statistical significance between cross-cultural ICEBTS and turnover intention. Discussions. The purpose of the study was to investigate the influence of frontline employees' perception of TL on their level of cross-cultural ICEBTS and turnover intention. The H1 result indicates that frontline employees' perception of TL has a significant positive relationship with cross-cultural ICEBTS. The relationship implies that employees' positive feeling towards their leaders enhance their cross-cultural ICEBTS. The result is expected as TL's motivational tendency is integrated with cross-cultural ICEBTS' motivational direction. The result is also in agreement with previous findings. Following the JDR theory, the results manifest holistically on the TL and cross-cultural ICEBTS as job and personal resources. H2 indicates that TL has a significant negative relationship with turnover intention. In other words, the frontline employees perceive their supervisors' transformational leadership favorably, which means that supervisors treated their employees well. This supports the findings of previous studies by Chen and Wu and Waldman et al. Similar with hypothesis 1, the findings also provide support to the JDR theory, specifying how the positive and negative work outcomes could be shaped through the interaction of job demands and job resources. Drawing on the COR theory, the accumulation of resources would help the employees meet their job demands and challenges that lead to reduced turnover intention. H3 suggests that cross-cultural ICEBTS does not influence the level of TI of the frontline employees. Employees having high higher levels of cross-cultural ICEBTS would still have the intention to leave the organization. The results contradicted the findings of previous studies, which reported a significant negative link between cross-cultural ICEBTS. The insignificant relationship could be attributed to several factors. Among them is that employees having a high cross-cultural ICEBTS exudes confidence in them to face challenges and belief in their capabilities, which may lead them to leave their organization, and that most of the respondents of the study belong to the millennial generation. So given the high cross-cultural ICEBTS in them, employees from this generation would leave the organization for a more challenging career. Finally, we come to our conclusion. Based on the JDR and COR theories, our study developed and tested a research model which investigated the relationships of job resources, personal resources with the outcome. From the results of our study, there is partial support for the motivational process of the JDR and the COR theories. On the one hand, the results of the impact of TL support on followers' cross-cultural ICEBTS and turnover intention is consistent with prior research between TL and workplace ICEBTS. On the other hand, the non-significant results between cross-cultural ICEBTS and TI are not consistent with prior studies. The result is unexpected, although such non-significant finding also has been observed in recent research by Kang, Baza, and Choi 2018. One possible explanation could be the relatively small sample size of this study. The findings also indicate that hotel managers engaging in TL behaviors are more likely to develop good supervisor-employee exchange relationship. Finally, for future research, we would like to recommend that the collection of data to include all hotels in Malaysia, adopting a longitudinal design with data obtained from different sources. I have come to the end of the presentation. With this slide, on behalf of my team members, thank you for watching our video presentation.